What up, fam? It's your boy, Slenderboy 2024, streaming to you live. Yeah, this is a long overdue review video. I wanted to do a good old-fashioned shark off. I want to kind of compare, contrast, review these two shark movies that are kind of similar. This is all because very recently, well, not too recently, I'm a little late now, but The Devil's Mouth, this new Prime Original movie, came out on Amazon Prime July 29th, starring the lovely Kathryn Newton. It's another killer shark movie. Kathryn Newton, the lovely Kathryn Newton, you might remember from Paranormal Activity 4, also co-starring Lana Condor. You might remember her as Jubilee from X-Men Apocalypse. And there's Kathryn Newton. I don't know what that pose is, but her abs, yeah, her ab game is very strong. So that's the one movie I watched, and then I kind of felt like, hey, like what would be another shark movie to do like a double feature with? This is I paired it with 47 Meters Down, a movie back from, God, it's so long ago now, 2017 this movie came out. This is a very underrated thriller. I want people to know about this. So yeah, again, Devil's Mouth, find that on Amazon Prime. It's a Prime exclusive, so watch that for sure. 47 Meters Down, I found on Tubi, so you can find that on Tubi, if nothing else. Let me start with, I mean, I like them both, but to be honest with you, let's see. As far as review scores go, 47 Meters Down, I'm giving this a 9 out of 10. This is a very underrated hidden gem of a thriller. It's a very, very good shark movie. I mean, you can't beat Jaws. Let's just kind of set Jaws aside as far as killer shark movies go. The Meg is fun, but it's kind of a dumb action movie more than like a horror movie per se. 47 Meters Down is a very good thriller. It's a very good horror movie. Setting Jaws aside, I would say 47 Meters Down, that's like my go-to for like a really good killer shark movie. Whereas Devil's Mouth, it's kind of dumb. It's more fun than like, artistically good. I would give Devil's Mouth like a solid 7 out of 10, but it's not as good as 47 Meters Down. So I'm gonna start this double review by reviewing the better of the two. Although I recommend you watch both, do like a double feature. Okay, 47 Meters Down stars these two sisters played by Claire Holt and Mandy Moore. Claire Holt, I don't know too well from too much, but I recently learned she's from The Vampire Diaries. She was in that show. She played a major character, Rebecca Michelson or something. So look her up. She's pretty good. But the star of the show and the main character, the main actress, is Mandy Moore, who I've had a crush on as long as I can remember. Ever since this film right here. What's this film? What's this film? If you don't get it right, I'm gonna be so mad. Who wrote The Notebook? I see you, Phyllis. You wrote The Notebook? No, not The Notebook. It's A Walk to Remember. A Walk to Remember. Goddamn, one of my favorite romance movies from way back in the day. I've had a crush on Mandy Moore ever since then. But she's still, well, this is 2017. But yeah, no, she's still looking good. She's still a good actress. So long story short, these are sisters, Lisa and Claire. Lisa recently broke up with her, I forget if he was her husband or boyfriend or whatever, but basically they go on this crazy trip to go in a shark diving cage because Lisa has been told by her ex that she's, too safe, too boring. She's not willing to go out or try new things. This is kind of her extreme version of that. Her sister is much more outgoing, much more adventurous, and so she's trying to get Lisa to go on this like little adventure with her. And it's kind of like this like complicated way for her. She's gonna like take pictures and send them to her boyfriend, or to make her seem more exciting and like try and get him back. It's funny because at the beginning of the movie she's like texting him, and she even says like, "Hey, I'm about to go on this crazy diving thing," and he just texts her back. He's just like, "Yeah, I boxed up my stuff and I left it on the porch," or whatever. Or whatever. He's having none of it. So I don't think that plan was ever going to work, just based on that one little text we see, but Anyway, this is one of those movies where like everything just like the movie has to happen. It's like the whole time. I'm gonna compare and contrast in a minute. So in both movies, there's definitely a more likable character and a more I would use the word annoying character. So Claire is much more again feisty, adventurous. Lisa, you could say, is kind of like the wet blanket. She's the complainer. But unlike, we'll get to Devil's Mouth in a minute. In this case with the 47 Meters Down, I don't know if I'd even use the word annoying. Like Mandy Moore, it's Mandy Moore. She's still charming in her own way. She's still cute. I like the scene where they're putting on their scuba suits, and she has that quick little moment of vanity where she's nervous about the dive and everything, but the dive, but she does take a moment. She like zips up and she's like, oh, does my butt at least look cute in this outfit? You know, and trust me, it does, Mandy, it does. She has that little moment of vanity, but yeah, no, I mean, you know, she's very, you know, straight laced, but like. Her I wouldn't even call it bitching, but her you know, constant like questioning of her, like it's very reasonable. Like she is like, you know, hey, do we know, because they meet these two guys at a bar and they're talking about like, oh, we could hook you up with this like diving thing, you know, this diving experience, go see the sharks. And she's like, hey, we don't really know these guys, like, you know, this could be really dangerous, like, you know, like or like she's like, these two guys barely speak English, and like, you know, maybe we shouldn't go off with them, you know, like no one knows that we're here, you know? And like she's making very reasonable, like logical complaints, you know. It's not like she's just like whining all. It's not like you know, I'm trying to think of an example, like Arnold from Magic School Bus, where he's just like, he just doesn't want to do anything. He's just like, I don't want to go on this adventure. My stomach hurts or what, you know. She's not pulling that. She's not like, oh, I have a headache. Oh, my feet hurt. Oh, I have a tummy ache. Like, I can't go. She's making pretty reasonable complaints. Like, and again, they meet up with the guys. They go on like the barge, and they go with this like diving instructor who does not really speak English. And like the barge itself, the boat is like kind of rusty and falling apart, and like the equipment's like the cage. They see the cage and it's like kind of rusty and falling apart, and she's just like, yeah, I don't know, this sounds dangerous. This looks not safe. But the two guys that they're with go ahead of them first, and like nothing goes wrong. They go in the cage and they, you know, dive, and it's fine, and they see the sharks. And again, another example of her making a legitimate complaint. The at first they don't see anything in the water, and like the ship's captain and the guys, they take this bucket of chum, like this, like, you know, fish guts base, and they like drop it in the water to like stir up the sharks. And Mandy Moore is just kind of like, hey, isn't that like illegal? You can't like chum the water, isn't that like illegal? And he's like, oh, it's Mexico. I forget where they are. I think they're in Mexico or whatever. He's like, oh, in Mexico, it's all okay, you know, muchas gracias. Or he just ignores, you know, her very valid complaint. So again, yeah, even though like out of the two, Mandy Moore's meant to be kind of the wet blanket of the group, but like, yeah, I still sympathize with her. I felt for her. Like I never found her annoying. I didn't. Like I thought the character was still plenty endearing and you know, sympathetic. But yeah, like again, like the two guys go and everything's fine, you know, and the entire time Mandy Moore just keeps on going, like, oh, like maybe we still have a chance to turn back. Like this is because you know, the diving instructor, he explains everything. He's like, oh, you know, just make sure you don't go back up too fast, because you'll get the bends and they'll fuck you up. Like you have to decompress. You have to like spend 5 full minutes decompressing at a certain, you know, depth. And Mandy Moore hears that, and she's like, hey, you know, this sounds really dangerous. And her sister's like, no, it's fine. Yeah, again, I didn't know too much. Well, to be honest with you, I didn't know anything about scuba diving. So like this movie was pretty educational to me in a couple of ways. I'll explain the other way in a little bit. But yeah, no, I didn't know about the bends. So like that's an important thing to know about. Like you can't just rush to the surface. Like you'll get really messed up actually. Like the decompression or whatever will screw you up. And I think it can even kill you. So yeah, that's a very important thing to know. And they go into, you know, to meticulous detail about like putting on the suits, the air tank, the walkie-talkies and stuff that they use, the masks they put on. But anyway, they're down there, and like, you know, everything's okay at first, but of course the winch or whatever that's holding the cage up, it breaks, and the cage falls 47 meters down. And the reason that this depth is important is because their walkie-talkies only, like, they do have walkie-talkies with like the ship and everything, but they only work at a certain depth, and they're out of range. So they're you know, in the cage at the bottom of the ocean, and the cage is like kind of their safety net against the shark attacks, but they can't talk to the boat unless they leave the safety of the cage and like go up a certain depth. But here's the problem. The cage fell in such a way that Lisa's leg is pinned. The cage is basically on top of her leg. So she can't go out. She can't go to that. So Claire has to like leave the safety of the cage and like swim up and talk to the boat. And yeah, long story short, the guy's like, okay, like one of us is going to come down and like get you. And that doesn't go so well. I think his name's Javier or whatever. Javier swims down and with a spear gun and everything, and he gets eaten. He gets fucked up. So Claire has to like leave the safety of the cage, and she well, first she finds the body. She checks the air tank. I wouldn't have thought to check for that, but yeah, his air's been punctured or whatever. But she does have the spear gun now, so that's good. So she swims back. They can't get the cage off of Mandy Moore's leg. Like, she's just fucking pinned. So that's no good. And it's a catch-22 of so basically, like, Claire, it ends up that like Claire is like has way less air than Mandy Moore. I forget why. I think maybe her tank got punctured or something. So ideally, Mandy Moore should go out and swim because that would take more oxygen to like swim out of the cage. But like, she's the one that's pinned, ironically. So even though she has more air, it's the sister who has to go out there. But yeah, so the sister goes out and she gets really screwed up. Well, what happens is the ship's captain he drops 2 oxygen tanks down, like extra tanks down for them to like change out the oxygen. So the sister has to go out and grab them. But even at that point, the captain warns them there's something called nitrogen narcosis, which, again, I'm learning about this by watching the movie. Yeah, I mean, even though you can breathe down there with, like, an oxygen tank, it's still dangerous. Like, you don't want to be down there too long, and you don't want to, breathe too much oxygen through that tank, because the more you do that, the more you risk nitrogen narcosis, which, long story short, it's basically like, basically think of like getting drunk off of nitrogen. Like it's not good, and it can make you hallucinate and see shit and make you loopy, and that's all. That's why he explains. He's like, I didn't give you extra tanks because I didn't want to increase your risk of nitrogen narcosis, and if you're on tank 2, like you're really gonna risk it, So, but they're like, well, we need the air. We're gonna die, so it's worth the risk. So Claire goes out. She gets really fucked up by the shark. It's implied that she gets killed by it, but the tanks are like right there. It's so frustrating because the tanks are like right there, and Mandy Moore can't reach them, and so she has to do this whole thing where she has like the spear gun, and she's like kind of like twirling it and throwing the spear end and like trying to hook onto the oxygen tank and pull it closer to her. It's a whole thing. Oh yeah, and by the way, like anytime, it's so stressful. Anytime anyone gets cut or anything, blood's in the water. Literally, sharks are gonna be swarming. But she hears her sister over the radio, and she's like telling her like, oh, I got bit by the shark, but I'm okay. I'm just like really messed up. And so Mandy Moore does this whole thing where she puts the oxygen, her own like oxygen thing underneath the cage and lifts it up. She like has it explode and lift the cage up, and she swims out and she finds her sister, and they swim back up to the surface, but they have to pause because they don't want to get the bends. And it's a really, really good scene because, the light keeps coming in and out because they're using signal flares, but the flare goes out, it's complete darkness. She lights the next flare, and suddenly there's like 3 sharks surrounding them. They're getting really messed up by the sharks now. And in fact, I think one even like bites and holds onto her leg, to Mandy Moore's leg, and basically chews it off, or so to speak. But they get rescued by the boat and everything, but something interesting happens. Mandy Moore's on the deck of the ship, and she starts tripping out, and long story short, this is, spoiler warning for both movies. Like I said, I gave my ratings ahead of time. I recommended both ahead of time. Going into spoilers for both, sorry. This came out in 2017, so you've had like plenty of time to watch this movie. This has like a dark twist at the end that I really like, where again, we set up this idea of nitrogen narcosis. So basically, ever since Claire left Lisa, and it was implied that she died, but then like she started hearing her voice over the radio. So ever since then, there was like a break in like reality, and like nothing you saw happened. And this whole time, Lisa has been down there in the cage, still pinned by the cage, tripping balls because she ingested too much oxygen from those tanks. She has nitrogen narcosis, and it shows her she's just like down there, like kind of loopy, like woo, And I saw this in the theater in 2017, and people were losing their shit. People were going wild when they're like, "Oh my god, no way!" Such a dark twist for an ending. So yeah, the sister definitely died. And and I like how that little detail where like even in like the vision she had, because it was all like over the top with how close the sharks were, how many there were, all this stuff. it turned into like an action movie. But like, it makes sense because it was a hallucination she was having. But even in that hallucination, I like that detail where like the shark bit her leg and tore it off, and it's like it represents how like, you know, the cage is on her leg, she can't feel that leg anymore. You know, that was a nice little detail. Anyway, but yeah, she is actually rescued by the Coast Guard and everything, but unfortunately, yeah, it's implied that her sister died. So, and by the way, check out this movie on Netflix called Fall. There's like this subgenre, I'm going to say now, there's like a subgenre of like two hot girls trapped somewhere. There's 47 meters down and there's Fall. The 47 meters down, like there's two hot girls trapped in a cage with like sharks, and then Fall, there's two hot girls trapped on top of this radio tower, like a 200 meters up or whatever, you know. Anyway, but yeah, Fall's a really good one. Another underrated thriller that's on Netflix currently. It leaves at the end of the month, so check it out. But yeah, Fall has, without saying too much, Fall has a similar kind of dark twist towards the end of the movie that I really appreciated. So there you go. Switching gears, yeah, again, Mandy Moore, best girl, still best girl. Switching gears to new best girl. No, I like Kathryn Newton a lot. I think she's underrated. She's been slumming it in the horror genre. Again, she got her start with Paranormal Activity 4, but she's been in what? Abigail, frickin' Lisa Frankenstein, Ant-Man Quantumania. No, that wasn't a horror movie. Well, some might say it's a horror movie. Did you see MODOK in that movie? That was kind of a horror movie. There's other examples I can't think of, but yeah, Abigail, Devil's Mouth, Paranormal Activity 4, Lisa Frankenstein. Oh yeah, Ready or Not 2. She's the co-star of that. She's pretty good in that. Yeah, no, she's slumming in the horror genre. I mean, we're happy to welcome you, Kathryn. Like, you've been slumming it. Oh yeah, Freaky, that thriller, that horror movie with her and Vince Vaughn where they swap bodies. Yeah, no, Freaky's a really good one too. Kathryn Newton, she's the best. Lana Condor, I know people like her. I don't really know her from too much. I think she has like a show on Netflix or something. But yeah, she's the co-star in this movie. Okay, so this is one where, unlike 47 Meters Down, there's the one girl that's like more reasonable, that you know, like, more likable. That would be Kathryn Newton. And then there's the girl that's like more annoying, and that would be Lana Condor. So there's Sarah, and then there's Max. So long story short, there's this group of college student friends, and they're on like spring break or whatever. They're on like a trip to Thailand, as you do. But long story short, it has meaning for Sarah. She's the most, you know, sympathetic character of the group. They're a typical teen douchey, you know, group. But Sarah, you know, she's going for a reason because like her father loved Thailand. He loved these caves called the Devil's Mouth, and like he actually died in Thailand. So she wants to like honor his memory, go to his favorite spot, yada yada yada. So that's like kind of like the main reason that they're there. But we kind of get introduced right away to Sarah and Max's dynamic, where Sarah and Max, they're BFFs, they're best friends, and they were going to move to New York together because Sarah got her dream job and all that, but after college. But they have a conversation at the beginning where Max is like, "Oh, well, actually, I just accepted this job in LA, so we'll just move to LA." And she's kind of decided that for both of them. And then, you know, Sarah makes the argument. She's like, "Well, I really wanted to do this job in New York." And Max is like, "Well, I know you did, but like, you know, you'll find another job in LA, right? So there you go. And of course you want to be with me, and I'm going to LA, so you're just going to come to LA." And so that's their dynamic, where Max just kind of dominates, and Sarah tries to stand up for herself but fails, and that's it. And I've known, man, I really hated Max. I think you're meant to hate Max. I really hated Max. I've known people like Max where it's like they're just very pushy people, where like they will, it's how do I explain it? It's like they don't even like leave room for argument or debate. It's like she'll just kind of call the shots. Like, she'll decide something, and like that's it. She'll even say it like kind of like, I know you want to do, you know, whatever. I know you wanted to do it this way, but you'll learn to like it my way. It's like the way she says it, it's just like it's already been, before you even realize it, before you know what's going on, you're just doing it her way, you know, or you're just going where she wants to go. Like that's just how some people. That is my least favorite kind of person. I hate people like that. I hate people like that. But yeah, Max is a control freak. She's a really shitty friend. She's very annoying. She's very self-centered. She's very bossy. She actually refers to herself in the movie as the CEO of fun, which is probably the least fun thing you could possibly say ever. But But yeah, another thing that happens right at the beginning of the movie, it's actually one of the best, like, scariest scenes. It doesn't involve sharks at all, which I appreciate. I like a little variety in my horror movies. But before we get to the sharks, like, before we even get to the devil's mouth, something really horrible happens to Sarah, poor Sarah. Long story short, Sarah, like, wants to go, they're, like, on a boat, and they're out at sea, and Sarah wants to go swimming, and she tells Max that she wants to go swimming or snorkeling or whatever, and Max is like, okay, well, I want to go play beer pong or whatever, so you just go. She's like, what, by myself? He's like, yeah, by yourself. You'll love it. You'll love swimming. You'll like the solitude or whatever. So Sarah's like, okay. She's like reluctant to, but she's like, okay, well, I mean, the boat's right there. It's I guess it's okay. So she like swims out, and she's like snorkeling or whatever. And then they just fucking leave. They just, like, drive off. They just fucking leave her there. And they show you what happened inside the boat. Max, to be fair, she's like a little tipsy. She's been playing beer pong, but Max is there with the friends. No one else knows where Sarah is, but Max certainly does. But the ship's captain like comes over and he's like, okay, well, I'm gonna like drive off. Like, wait, where's the other girl? And then Max is like, oh no, she's like upstairs sleeping, or so. She's on board. Don't worry, she's on the ship. And the captain's like, okay, I'm driving away now. And then they fucking drive away, and they leave her there. And Sarah, like, you know, comes up for air, and she sees the boat driving away, and she's like, what the hell? And at this point, she starts getting stung, and she realizes, oh my god, like, this sea is just full of jellyfish, and they all just start fucking stinging her like crazy, and she's like screaming her head off. And that's why the boat like turns around. That's why they like notice something's wrong, because this whole group of friends is so terrible. They don't notice their friend isn't even on the boat with them. But yeah, they hear her screaming her head off, so then they turn around and go save her. But yeah, she's just being stung again and again by these jellyfish. Like, that was honestly one of the scariest parts of the movie. And again, didn't involve a shark at all. And it leaves these, like, again, I don't know anything about the real life side of it. I assume they did their research, but like, it leaves these like horrible red, like, spiral welts, like, all over poor Kathryn Newton's body. Like, she got stung all over. And I don't personally have this. I have a friend who got stung by a jellyfish. That shit hurts. Like, that shit stays with you. And he just got stung like once on the foot, and he was like out of commission for like the whole fucking week. So I can only imagine, like, Sarah, she's just like covered like head to toe. It looks like she got like red tattoos all over her body, you know what I'm saying? But poor Sarah, she's like on the boat just like seething it with anger. She's just like giving death glares to all of them, and there's just like this awkward silence. And Max is just kind of like, oh my god, she's trying to do her cope is insane. She's trying to do damage control. She's like, oh, thank God we found you. Like, you know, it's so good that this was like completely like, you know, unavoidable accident, that it was nobody's fault. She's literally talking like that. She's like, oh, you know, this was clearly nobody's fault. I mean, you know, accidents happen all the time. People get left behind all the time. And Sarah's like, I'm pretty sure that's not true, Max. I'm pretty sure that's not true. And so the scene carries over to dinner the next day or whatever. And again, it's all very awkward. They're all like, nobody's talking, and Sarah's just sitting there with like her welts, and she's just like, and you can't like ignore it or avoid it. Like, the evidence is right there. Her body's just like covered in them, and she's like trying to apply like, you know, healing ointment or whatever, and it stings, and like and like eventually like they have it out, they like hash it out, and like Max is just like, listen, you know, this was nobody's fault, but like, if you had to blame someone, like, that captain was like really rushing us to get going or whatever. And it was just like, and like, even though the other friends are chiming in, like, Max, like, you told him that she was on the ship. Like come on, like they're just like, they're not even like saying, they're just like kind of like, come on, like it is someone's, it's very clearly someone's fault here. You knew where she was. You told the captain to drive off. Like, something needs to happen here. Like, and then Sarah, to her credit, she's like kind of sticking up for herself, and she's like, no, like, I'm pretty sure this was somebody's fault. Like, I'm pretty sure this was your fault. Like, you just abandoned me. You're like a bad friend. And she's like, I'm not a bad friend. I'm not bad. She just gets so defensive. I'm not a bad friend. It's just like, she's just like, you know, and she's just like, you know, she's one of those people, she like turns it into like, it's all about her. She's like, I can't believe you're all ganging up on me, because they all kind of like, you know, they're all reasonable people. They agree with Sarah. It is Max's fault, and she needs to apologize. And Max is just like, I can't believe you're all ganging up on me. She leaves the table in a huff. She's like, all right, well, fine, just blame me for everything. Why don't you? And it's like, just admit you fucked up and say sorry, and like that. She's covered in welts. Like, just say you're sorry to your best friend, and then that will be that. But she can't do it. She can't do it. And I've met people like Max. I know people like Max. She can't admit. Why would she say she's sorry if she didn't fuck? You know, she can't admit that she fucked up, so why would she say that she's sorry? There's nothing to be sorry for. It was a completely unavoidable accident. It could happen to anybody, right? Right, Max? Oh, she's so annoying. But yeah, no, that she like leaves in a huff, and she has to make it about her. She's like, oh, everyone's just blaming me. Everyone's just ganging up on me. I feel whatever. I feel people are gaslighting me. No one's gaslighting you, Max. This was totally your fault. But she gets up and like leaves in a huff. And then Sarah starts like, you need to double down. No, she's like backpedaling. She's like, oh man, maybe I was too harsh. Like maybe I shouldn't have blamed her for like, maybe it was an accident. And then the redhead in the group, I think her name's Adrian. She's the only other slightly likable character. She like takes Sarah's side. She's like, oh yeah, like I can't believe Max made it all about her. Like this was you're the one covered in welts, and somehow Max is the like. Again, yeah, that's what I was trying to look for. Max finds a way to be the victim, and there are people like her, and I hate them. There are people that are just like constantly the victim. Like no matter what, she's the victim. Even though Kathryn got left behind and stung by jellyfish, Max is the victim somehow. So anyway, but yeah, Sarah, they have to make up because they're besties. So she finds her and she talks to her. She's like, yeah, I was too harsh. She's like, no you weren't. But anyway, they make up, and like Max like kind of half apologizes or half admits that she was wrong, kind of, or quarter admits that she was wrong. But she's also like, well, it was kind of the captain's fault too. And it's like, all right, my God, okay, fine, whatever. Just patch up and move on. And there's a good scene where they're playing on the beach. And poor Sarah, she just has to watch them play in the water because, like, again, she's covered in welts. She can't go in the water. I'm sure that would sting like the salt water. Oh my God, I'm sure that would sting like a bitch. But they're playing on the beach, and they find this turtle, and the camera pans over, and like the turtle's had like a shark bite taken out of it, like a huge bite taken out of its shell. It's really chilling, and it's like, yeah, that little tease at the beginning of like this greater threat, the shark, So yeah, again, even though 47 Meters Down is a better movie, The Devil's Mouth, I do think it's a pretty good thriller as well. It's just you got to get over how fucking annoying Max is. That's the real problem of this movie. I get it. Not every character is going to be likable. Some of them are going to be cannon fodder or shark fodder. But man, they went a little too hard on making Max annoying. I'm just saying. So anyway, they the next day this is what they're here for. They want to explore the cave system, the Devil's Mouth, and. Sorry, again, this is one of those, the kids have to make dumb decisions or else the movie doesn't happen, but it's like, you get to this scary cave where it looks like the mouth, the opening looks like a fucking shark's teeth, and it's called the Devil's Mouth. Maybe turn around, maybe don't go in there, maybe do something else. I mean, you almost fucking died going snorkeling, okay? Maybe just play on the beach a little bit, you can play with the half-eaten tortoise or something, you don't need to go in the scary cave system called the Devil's Mouth. People probably don't come back from that. Anyway, they meet their nice, friendly tour guide named Watt. And Watt, I'm going to have a little fun with this. Please indulge me. I every once in a while I like to have fun with the drawings and whatnot. But Watt shows them, he actually shows them a little diagram, like a little map of the cave system. And he tells them how like there's different paths you can take. And he's like, okay, well, guys, we have like basically two courses, two routes. You have the blue path here where you started at the one end and you just kind of go in a nice, safe, straight line through the caves. And there you go out the other side. It's a little bit shorter and it's a lot safer and everyone leaves happy. And then there's the red path. There's like the more advanced path. And you just start at the same spot, but you kind of go... And maybe you eventually make it out or maybe you don't. It's much more dangerous. This is the advanced course for advanced people. Have you guys been in these caves before? This is like the advanced course. Kathryn Newton, Sarah just wanted to go in the caves. She didn't she just wanted to honor her father's dying wish by going to the caves. There was nothing there saying that she had to go on the advanced course. And in fact, Sarah really pushes for the safe, the blue path. But of course, Max is like, well, if we're here, we have to take fun to... She always like uses her name as a pun, which I normally might find funny, but I didn't find it endearing here. I found it very annoying. She's like, I'm the CEO of fun, and we needed to maximize our fun. We need to take fun to the max because my name is Max. And so I decided that we're going to go on the red course. And it's like, oh boy, what could possibly go wrong? We're going to take the red course in the Devil's Mouth. This diagram is so nice, and nobody else wants to go on the red path, Max. But Max decided for the group because she's very bossy. And anyway, they're on like the path with Watt, and the whole time Watt is like constantly checking on on Sarah, And he's like, are you okay? Like, do you have enough like water wingings? He's giving her like no one else even has like a flotation device. He's giving her like a life preserver, and he's giving her like 2 extra water wingings, and he's like constantly checking on her. He gave her like 2 extra like headlight flashlights or whatever. He's like constantly checking, and she's like eventually she's like, all right, well, what's going on? And he's like, well, your friend Max was concerned about you, so he like paid me extra to like give you special treatment and make sure you didn't get hurt or anything, because you already got hurt like snorkeling or whatever. And she told me about like what your disastrous snorkeling accident or whatever. Yeah, the accident that could have happened to everyone, that could have happened to anyone, that was nobody's fault in particular. And and so Sarah gets like understandably kind of pissed off, because she's like, well, I don't want to be treated like a child. You're infantilizing me. And this is where I would chime in and say, hey Max, okay, I know you're worried about Sarah's safety. You don't want her to get hurt again. Maybe if you were really worried about her safety, you could have taken the nice safe blue path that Sarah wanted to take. Maybe don't take her on the very dangerous, risky red path. Right? Like, that's something you could have done if you were that worried. But no, she's not actually, like, she just feels guilty. She feels guilty about fucking up before, and so she's gonna give her like super half-assed attempt at like trying to pretend that she does care about her friend's safety. So that was what she did. She paid off Watt to like babysit her, and that didn't work out. So anyway, we're going through the caves, and things go tits up pretty quick. I forget how they explain it, but there was like some flood recently where like, sea animals from the outside are now in the cave system that wouldn't normally be there, aka sharks, aka fucking sharks. And it's bad. It's really, really bad. They quickly decide like, okay, well, we need to like get out of here, because they see like dead sea life that the sharks have obviously killed. Like, they find like a dead diver with like a shark bite taken out of him and stuff like that. And Max is like, no, like, Watt's like, Watt's being very reasonable, but he's like, okay, well, we need to go now. We need to decide on plan, and we need to leave now, or else we die. So, let me lead you back out through the blue path, and we will leave and be okay. And Max, of course, is just like, no, we can't do that. I forget even what there's so many times in this movie where everything that happens because of Max. Because Max makes there's like a good decision and a bad decision. There's a fork in the road, and Max always takes the bad road. She always takes the red path. And Watt gave them an out. Watt's like, follow me, and I'll take you to safety. And Max is like, no, we can't do that. It's like, oh, okay, well then we'll just stay here and die. And Watt, to his credit, he's like, well, I gave you a chance to follow me, but I'm not waiting here to die with you. So he just leaves. He just leaves. And Sarah's like, okay, there we go. Our tour guide has just left, so now we're really screwed. We don't know where we are. We have a map, but that's it. And Max, of course, is like, well, this isn't my fault. Stop blaming me. Stop ganging up on me. Stop gaslighting me. What happened? Well, yeah, the reason they had to stay behind is because Adrian, the redhead, got like cut real bad or something. And so they're like, we need her to stay here, and we'll like leave and come back with help. But like then that's where the group has like a schism, because they're like, well, some of us want to stay with her, but some of us want to go. We shouldn't leave her alone. But who should stay and who should go, and all this shit. Everyone gets eaten by sharks. Like everyone gets eaten by sharks. Okay, like I said, things go tits up pretty quick. Even Watt, unfortunately, he gets killed by the shark. I felt really bad, because Max was like, well, no, we should stay here and wait for Watt to come back with help. But then they hear him, like, obviously get eaten by sharks and screaming. And so they're like, okay, well, there goes that. Like, we need to, like, leave now. They come up with a couple of clever plans, to their credit. With like, they figure out, like, these, like, thin cave systems where the shark can't follow. They like find ways to like kind of trap its head or whatever, but like it's a really strong. By the way, the type of shark, it's a bull shark, which I didn't know much about before this movie, but bull sharks, they will not only like ram the cave walls, but once they grab onto their prey, they will like ram the prey into the wall over and over to like incapacitate and kill it. Basically, it's a really hardcore shark. Like it's one you don't want to be after you, but yeah, the redhead, she was the only other semi-logical person. She doesn't make it. Her boyfriend doesn't make it. The one boyfriend gets, like, trapped through, like, the cave system. And, like, they do this clever thing where, like, he's running out of air. And the two girls, like, they can swim away. So they're taking turns. Like, they're both going up, Sarah and Max, they're going up for air and, like, giving him mouth-to-mouth to, like, slowly, keep him alive, like, giving him air that way. By the way, that was, Kimmy, I was like, oh, is there, like, a love triangle? Is, like, Sarah... is there gonna be something with like Sarah and the boyfriend where Max dies and like she gets the boyfriend? No, they don't do that. Whatchamacallit. But yeah, there is a good moment where like before Max's boyfriend dies, they're like trying to decide what to do, and it's like there's a very like Sarah breaks it down. There's two paths, but like there's one that like makes a lot more sense that Sarah wants to do, and of course Max is against it. But then Max is like the boyfriend even agrees with Sarah, because again this is like the path to the outside that's like doesn't go through the cave system. It's just a clear opening, and Max is like no, like that's too dangerous, or there might be sharks out there. And Sarah's like, Max's boyfriend agrees with Sarah, and of course Max is like, you're ganging up on me again. Why won't you take my side or whatever? And the boyfriend finally freaks out, and he finally like kind of puts her in place. He's like, you always do this. Like, I'm so tired of it. Like, stop making this about you. Stop manipulating me. Stop being the boss of everything. Stop it. Like, I'm not taking her side. I'm agreeing with her because her plan makes more sense. We've been doing your plan this whole fucking time, and it keeps on backfiring. So how about we let someone else be in charge, Max? And she's just like pouts, and she's like, fine. You don't want to follow me? That's fine. And so Max like goes her own way, and then like Sarah's like, okay, well, yeah, bye. And the boyfriend like, this is what I don't like. I liked him for standing up to Max, but then he immediately backpedals. He's like, he tries to guilt trip Sarah because he's like, well, we should go follow her. And Sarah's like, are you kidding me? Like, and he's like, yeah, well, you of all people, you should know what it's like to be abandoned by your friends. And she's like, are you pulling that shit with the jellyfish? She's like, that was so different. Like, you guys abandoned me. Max is making a choice to leave the group. Like, we offered to go with her a certain way, and she said no, and she went her own way. Like, that is completely different. But the boyfriend is just like, well, it's partially your fault. You always let her dominate you, blah, blah, blah. So anyway, the two of them, they huff and puff, and they're like, okay, well, we can't let Max go on her own. She'll die, so we have to go after her. So guess what? Everyone's going Max's way anyway. Isn't that great how Max always gets her way? No matter what, she just has to, endanger herself. She's like, well, okay, fine. You don't want to go my way? Well, I'll go my way. And then if you care about me, if you were a good boyfriend, if you're a good best friend, you would come after me anyway. And then they do. So there you go. Isn't that wonderful? Max gets her way again. Fuck her. Anyway, yeah. Even though again, I do like 47 Meters Down better. I think this movie does have some clever moments. Max is trapped at one point. The shark's coming for her. Kathryn Newton. Once again, they use flares in a key way. Kathryn Newton uses the flare to like get the shark's attention. The shark makes this like crazy like lunging tackle at her, and Kathryn Newton manages to like throw the flare in its mouth and like fuck it up that way. And then she does another thing. Oh, let me back up. Before that, so what happened? So Max has now injured her hand. She's cut her hand up really bad, so she can't climb anymore. So they're like out the cliff face. There's like a hole at the top, and Kathryn Newton's like, okay, we're almost out. Like, I can climb up and I can go out and I can get help. And at first Max is like, okay, and she can't follow her. She can't climb up because of her hand injury. So she's like, okay, like I'll like wait here for you to come back with help. And finally, it's like, okay, finally this is like a sane plan. Max isn't going to screw it up. Guess what? Kathryn Newton climbs all the way up to the tunnel. She's almost out. And then Max just starts following her. And she's like, what are you doing? And she's like, well, I changed my mind. I'm coming with you. And she can't because of her hand injury. So then Kathryn Newton has to like make this like, rope thing to like pull her up. So she would have been out. It would have been fine. But of course, nope. So now she has to pull her fat ass up the wall with the rope, and of course the shark attacks her and kills Max anyway. So now that I'm not gonna lie, I rewound that scene like 5 times. I was very happy to watch Max die. I'm sorry, she was so annoying. I think that was supposed to be like kind of a cathartic moment where the shark finally kills Max. It's like, yeah, everyone else died. Like how about kill off this annoying bitch anyway. But yeah, so now it's on. Now Kathryn Newton is like, okay, you killed my best friend. She like lures the shark into attacking her because she remembers talking about how like the cave walls are very weak. So at the last second, she like kicks the shark, but she makes the shark like bull rush the wall and crushes. It makes the wall collapse on top of the shark, crushing it, killing the shark, and that reveals a new path. And Kathryn Newton escapes from the caves and finally escapes, covered in blood. She just starts screaming a cry of victory, a triumphant roar of victory. The end. Yeah. So both are a very good time. again, like I said, the only downside for Devil's Mouth, the characters are very cliche. Some of them are annoying, especially Max. But you do get that cathartic moment where Max gets eaten by a shark. But 47 Meters Down had better characters. It had a better twist at the end, better action. But Devil's Mouth had some good action too. Anyway, I've rambled on long enough. They both make a good double feature. Please check out both if possible. Devil's Mouth is on Amazon Prime. The 47 Meters Down, at least at the moment, is on Tubi. But yeah, that's it for now. See ya.